Hi guys, welcome back to Basic Programming in Java. I hope you have got hooked to Java programming by now. In this module, I'll be discussing about the decision-making statements in Java, the if-else statements. Before we jump right into the decision-making statement, let us briefly discuss about the different programming constructs available. In a program, statements may be executed sequentially, selectively, or iteratively. Every programming language provides constructs to support sequence, selection, or iteration. Let us see what is meant by sequence, selection, or iteration constructs. The sequence construct means the statements are being executed sequentially, that is, one after the other. This represents the default flow of statements. In this type of program construct, execution begins with its first statement. Each statement is executed one by one. When the final statement is executed, the program is done. This is the simplest form of programming construct. Until now, we were using the sequence construct in writing our programs. The selection construct means the execution of statement depends upon a condition or test. If the condition evaluates to true, one course of action or a particular set of statements are followed. Otherwise, another course of action or a different set of statements are followed. This construct is also called decision-making construct because it helps in making decision about which set of statements is to be executed. In the iteration construct, there is a repetition of a set of statements depending on a condition test. Till the time a condition is true, a set of statements are repeated again and again. As soon as the condition becomes false, the repetition stops. The iteration construct is also called looping construct. Let us learn more about the selection construct or decision-making construct in this module. Decision-making statements are useful when we have to make a decision based on checking a condition. So if the condition is true, we might execute one set of statements, and if the condition is false, we might execute a different set of statements. In Java, we have three types of decision statements: if statement, switch case statement, and conditional operator or ternary operator. In this module, we will be discussing more about the if statement. If statement can be used in four ways: simple if statement, if-else statement, if-else-if ladder statement, and nested if statement. In the flowchart, the if statement looks like this. We have the decision-making box where we test condition. If the condition is evaluated true, then the set of statements in the if block are executed. And if the condition is evaluated false, then the if block statements are bypassed and the program continues with the rest of the statements. Let us look into the syntax of the if statement. If is a reserved word. Test expression is any expression that returns a Boolean value, that is, a true or false value. If the test expression is true, then statement block will be executed. If the expression is evaluated false, then the rest of the statements after the if block are executed. Let us see an example. The test expression is age greater than or equal to 18. If the age input is greater than or equal to 18, the expression is evaluated true. Then the statement "you are eligible to vote" will be printed. The if-else statement is a conditional branch statement. It is used to select one alternative statement out of the two. We have the decision-making box where we test condition. If the condition is evaluated true, then the set of statements in the if block are executed. And if the condition is evaluated false, the statements in the else block are executed. Then we have the output from the program. Let us see the syntax of if-else statement. Test expression returns a Boolean value, that is, a true or false value. If the test expression is true, then statements 1 block will be executed, which is the if block. If the expression is evaluated false, then statements 2 block will be executed, which is the else block. Let us see an example for the if-else statement. The test expression given is num1 greater than num2. So if num1 is greater than num2, the expression is evaluated true. Then the statement in the if block num1 is greater will be printed. If num1 is less than num2, the expression is evaluated false. Then the statement in the else block, that is num2 is greater, will be printed. For example, if num1 is 9 and num2 is 7, then num1 is greater. So num1 greater than num2, that is 9 greater than 7, is true. So the if block will be printed as num1, that is 9 is greater. The third type of if statement is if-else if statement, also known as if-else if ladder structure. The if statements are executed from top down. As soon as one of the conditions controlling the if is true, the statement associated with that if is executed, and the rest of the if statements are bypassed. If none of the conditions are true, then the final else statement will be executed. If the final else statement is not present, then no action is taken. Let us see an example for the if-else if ladder structure. This program checks the percentage and prints out the grade. The first condition to be checked is if percentage greater than or equal to 90. If it is evaluated true, then grade A is printed and the rest of the statements are bypassed. If it is false, then the next condition, that is, if percentage greater than or equal to 80 is checked. If that is true, then grade B is printed and the rest of the statements are bypassed. If it is false, then the next condition is checked and it goes on. If all the conditions are evaluated false, then the final else block is executed. That is, grade D will be printed in this case. For example, if percentage is 75, then the first condition, if percentage greater than or equal to 90, is false. It moves on to the next condition, percentage greater than or equal to 80, that is also false. Then it moves to the next one, if percentage greater than or equal to 70. So that is true. So that statement will be printed, that is grade C will be printed. Yet another type of if statement is the nested if structure. There is an if structure inside the if block or the else block of another if structure. Here the outer if structure checks condition 1. If the condition 1 is true, then it goes on to the inner if structure, which checks condition 2. If the condition 1 is false, then the else block of the outer if structure is executed. We'll work out programs based on nested if to get it clearer. Let's now try out some Java programs which uses the different types of if statements. First one, write a program in Java to input two integers and print whichever is greater. So here we have to input two numbers. The output will be to print the greater number. So the process is to check which number is greater. We have created the class greater and using the scanner class to input. So here we have to create two variables for the input. So int a, b. Next we have to input the variables. So let us input a and b. So here enter the first number and enter the second number. We are using the function nextInt to input. Next we have to check if a is greater than b. So we write the if statement. If A greater than B, then print A is greater. Else, you have to print B is greater. So here we are checking the condition whether A is greater than B. If A is greater, then we print A is greater, or else we print B is greater. So when you write the print statement in this way, this variable will be replaced by the original value. Let us compile. No errors. Let's now run the program. Let's put the first number as 45, the second number 67. So it has come, 67 is greater. Let's move on to the next program. Write a program in Java to input two integers and check if they are equal. Here again the input is two integer numbers and the output is to print if they are equal or not. So the process is to check if the numbers are equal. Okay, here we have created the class equal, again using scanner class for input, and we have declared the two variables that we need to input, that is A and B. Now we have to check the condition whether A is equal to B. So before that we have to input the two numbers. So here we are inputting the first number and the second number. To check whether A is equal to B, we write the if statement. If A equal to B. So the relational operator for checking equal to is equal to in Java. So if A is equal to B, then you have to print they are equal. Otherwise we print they are not equal. Let's compile the program. No errors. Let's run and see. So let me write the first number as 34, second also as 34, and you get the result, they are equal. Suppose we run the program with a different input. First number is 45 and the second number is 67. So you get the result, they are not equal. Let's see the next question. Write a program in Java to input an integer and check if it is odd or even. So here for input, we need only one integer number, and for output, we have to print whether the number is odd or even. So the process is to check if the number is odd or even. To do the program, we have created the class odd even, again using scanner class to input. So here we need only one input, so I have declared just one variable, integer. So int n. Now we have to input the variable. So using the function nextInt, we are inputting the variable. Now we have to check whether the number is odd or even. So now we know that if the number is even, then it is divisible by 2. Or if you divide it by 2, then the remainder is 0. So that is the logic we are going to use in this program. Let's write the if statement. So the condition here is n mod 2 is equal to 0. Now mod is an operator which gives the result, that is it gives the remainder when you are dividing it by that number. So n mod 2 means give the remainder when you divide n by 2. So when the remainder that you get by dividing by 2 is equal to 0, then the number is an even number. That is the logic we are using. Or else the number is an odd number. So if n mod 2 is equal to 0, then it is an even number. So print even number, or else print it is an odd number. So let's compile. No errors. Let's run the program. So enter a number. Let me enter 89. So it gives 89 is an odd number. Let's run the program again and see another number. So 44. So 44 is an even number. So it works for both. So whenever you are running the program, make sure you put in both the inputs, both the possible inputs, so that you will see whether both parts of the program works properly. The if block as well as the else block. Let's see the next program. Write a program in Java to input an integer and check if it is a multiple of 3. So here again the input is only one integer number and the output is to print if it is a multiple of 3. So the process is to check if the number is a multiple of 3. Here again we will be using the same logic as we used in the previous program. So to know if it is a multiple of 3, you just have to divide it by 3. If the remainder is 0, then it is a multiple of 3. So we'll be using the same operator, that is a mod operator, which gives the remainder. So here we have created the class multiple and we have declared one variable, that is int n. Let us input the value. So next int is used for inputting the value. Now we have to write the if statement. So we write the if else block. So if n mod 3 is equal to 0, that is if you divide n by 3 and the remainder is 0, then we print it is a multiple of 3. Otherwise, we print it is not a multiple of 3. So let us compile. No errors. Let's run the program and see. So enter the number. Let me enter 24. So 24 is a multiple of 3. Let's run it again and see. Let me input 67. 67 is not a multiple of 3. So both the if block and the else block works fine. Let's check out the next program. Write a program in Java to input an integer and check if it is a bus number. A bus number is some number that is divisible by 7 or ends with 7. So here the input is again just one integer number and the output is to print if it is a bus number. That is, we have to check if the number is divisible by 7 or if it ends with 7. So here we have created the class busNum and declared one integer variable int n. Let's input the variable, the value. So using next int we have input the value. Let's write the if statement. So here we have to check two conditions, whether the number is divisible by 7 or whether it ends in 7. So the two conditions are there. So the first condition is n mod 7 is equal to 0. This checks whether it's a multiple of 7. So n divided by 7 is if the remainder is 0, then it's a multiple of 7. Or, so here you can see this particular operator is the OR operator. It is a logical operator in Java. Or the other condition is n mod 10 is equal to 7. That is, if the number ends with 7, then if you divide the number by 10, then you get the remainder as 7. For example, if you have the number 67, if you divide 67 by 10, you get the remainder 7. So if the remainder is 7, then you can be sure that the number ends with 7. So the conditions are, if the number n is a multiple of 7, for that n mod 7 is equal to 0. Or if the number ends with 7, that is if n mod 10 equal to 7. If this condition is true, then it is a bus number. Else, it is not a bus number. Let's compile the program. No errors. Let's run the program. So enter the number. Let's enter one number with ending with 7. So 17. So 17 is a bus number. Now let's enter a number which is a multiple of 7. So 14. Again, 14 is a bus number. Let's run the program again and enter any random number. So 69. So 69 is not a bus number because 69 is not a divisible of 7 and it does not end with 7. So it is not a bus number. So here we run the program 3 times to check all the 3 different conditions and to see whether the program runs okay in the if block as well as in the else block. Let's check the next program. Write a program in Java to input 3 sides of a triangle and check if it is equilateral, isosceles or scalene. So here we have to input the 3 sides of the triangle. And the output is to print what type of triangle it is, whether it is equilateral, isosceles or scalene triangle. So here the process is to check if it is equilateral or isosceles or scalene. To check if it is equilateral, you have to see whether all sides are equal. And to check if it is isosceles, you have to check whether any 2 sides are equal. If either of these things are not true, then it is obviously a scalene triangle. Since there are many conditions to check, here we will be using an if-else-if ladder structure. So let's see how to do the program. So here we have created the class triangle type, and since we have to input three sides, have declared the variable a, b and c as integer. Now let us input the three sides. So here we are inputting the first side, the second side and the third side. Now we have to write the if-else-if structure with all the conditions. To write the if-else-if structure, so you can see this is an if-else-if ladder structure. So the first condition is for the equilateral triangle. So here you can see this operator, which is the AND operator. So if A is equal to B and B is equal to C and A is equal to C. So all the three sides you are checking. If all the three sides are equal, then you print it is an equilateral triangle. So if this is false, then we come to the next block, else if. So the next condition is to check if it is an isosceles triangle. Now in an isosceles triangle, you just have to check whether any two sides are equal. So if A is equal to B or B is equal to C or A equal to C, then it is an isosceles triangle. Now if this condition is also false, then it is not an equilateral triangle or an isosceles triangle. So automatically it comes to the else block, which prints it is a scalene triangle. So whenever you have many conditions to check like this, we use an if-else-if ladder structure. Now let us compile the program and run it and see. So we have to give three sides. So first let us give equal sides. So 5, 5, 5. So it is an equilateral triangle. Next let us give two sides equal. So let's give 5, 5 and 6. So it is an isosceles triangle. Next let us check different ones. So 3, 4, 5. So it is a scalene triangle. So we have checked all the different options, the three options, by running it 3 times, and all the options work very well. So this is how you have to test the program. Let's check out the next program. Program 7. Write a program in Java to input an integer and check if it is positive, negative or 0. Here again the input is an integer number and the output is to print whether it's positive, negative or 0. So the process is to check if the number is greater than 0 or less than 0 or equal to 0. So now you can see there are many conditions to check over here. So again we'll be using the if-else-if ladder structure to do this program. Let's see how to do the program. So here I have created the class posNeg for positive negative number, and we need one integer variable. So I've declared int n. Now let us input the value. So here using next int we are inputting the value. So we have to write the ifs conditions. So here the condition is to check whether it is greater than 0, less than 0 or equal to 0. So here the first condition is to check if it is greater than 0. If it is greater than 0, then we print it is a positive number. And if it is less than 0, the next condition, if it is less than 0, then we print it is a negative number. So if either of these conditions are false, then automatically it is equal to 0. So we put in the else block, print it is 0. So let's compile the program. No errors. Let's run the program. So let's enter 45. So it is a positive number. Again, let's enter minus 89. So it is a negative number. Let's give the third option, 0. So it says it is 0. So all the three parts of the program are working fine. Let's move on to the next program. Write a program in Java to input the percentage and print the grade. So here we are inputting the percentage. We can input the percentage as a double value. Then output is to print the particular grade, whether it's grade A, B, C, etc. So the process is to check the percentage and print the appropriate grade. Let's see how to do this. So to do the program, I've created the class grade, and here I've declared the variable % as double. And here we are inputting the value of the percentage. using the function next double. Now let us write the if-else statement to check the percentage. So here you can see, since we have to check many grades, we are writing an if-else-if ladder structure. So the first condition is if the percentage is greater than 90. So then we print it is grade A. If that condition is false, then we come to the next one, that is percentage is greater than or equal to 80. So between 90 and 80 is grade B. So if it is greater than 90, automatically this statement grade A would have been printed. Since it is less than 90 only, it has come to the next condition. So we can be sure that it is less than 90. Then we are checking the condition whether it is greater than 80. So between 90 and 80. So it is grade B. So if this condition is also false, that is if it is not greater than 80, then it comes to next condition if percentage is greater than 70. Again, only if it is less than 80, it comes to the next one. So at this condition, the percentage is between 80 and 70. So then if this condition is true, then we print grade C. So on and on we go on till we check whether it is greater than 40. So greater than 40, that means between 60 and 40. So that is grade E. Then if none of these conditions are true, then it falls to the last else block where it prints fail. So let us check out this program. First let's compile. No errors. Let's run the program. So enter the percentage. Let me enter 94. So you get grade A. Let's run again and put 87. So it comes between 90 and 80. So again grade B. Let's input 76. So here you can see you got grade C. Let's input 65. So you got grade D. Let's input 45. And here you have grade E. So we'll input a value less than 40, maybe 35, and you get the result fail. So all the different options we have tried and all of them works perfectly. So this is how you use an if-else-if ladder when you have lot of different conditions to check. And especially when it is a range, this is the best way to check it. Let's see one last program. Write a program in Java to input 3 numbers and print the maximum. So here the input are the 3 numbers and the output is to print whichever is the maximum number. So the process is to check the numbers and print the maximum number. So you have to check take the first number and check with the other 2 numbers. So similarly, and then see which is the maximum number. So in this program, we will be using the nested if structure. So to do the program, I have created the class max and we need to input 3 numbers. So I have declared int A, B and C. Now let's input the numbers. So here we have to input the first number, second number and the third number. Now let us write the if-else structure. So the if-else condition can be written like this. So here, if A is greater than B, if that is the first number is greater than the second number, then again we check if A is greater than C, whether the first number is greater than the third number also. If that is true, then we can print A is maximum. Now, if that is false in the inside structure, then you know that C is maximum. So, if A is not greater than B, then it comes to the else block. So, then we know that B is greater than A. So, since B is already greater than A, then we check if B is greater than C also. If B is greater than C, then we print B is maximum. Otherwise, C will be the maximum number. So, we print C is maximum. So, here you can see it is a nested if structure. That is, outer if else structure is here. And inside the if block, there is an if else structure. And inside the else block also, there is an if else structure. So, let's compile the program. No errors. Let's run the program and see. So, we have to give 3 numbers. Let's give 45, 26 and 89. So, it comes 89. So, here you can see 45A, B is 26 and C is 89. So C is maximum. So 89 has come as maximum. So let's run it again and see. So this time let it be 78, 45 and 13. So the first number 78 is maximum. So similarly you can run the program giving the different values. So let us see one more time. So let's input 34, 99 and 67. So here 99 is maximum. So we got when the first number was maximum, third number was maximum, or the second number was maximum. It gave the correct answer. So I hope that you have understood how to use the if-else structure very well, the if-else statements, the if-else if ladder statement, as well as the if-else, the nested if-else statements. In the coming up sessions, we'll be discussing more programs based on the if-else statements, as well as we'll also discuss the other type of decision-making statement, that is a switch case statement. Thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. See you soon.